Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hearthstone PAX East Major presented by One Nation of Gamers. We have one more match left to go for day number 2, which means one more player to send on to the top 16 to go into the final day. I'm TJ. Joining me once again is That's Admirable. And, I've had a blast today. We've seen some crazy things. We've seen upsets. We've seen crazy decks. Mill Rogue, Reno Hunter. It's just been insane. But one more left. Astrogation versus FrazerPowers. And Astrogation, he plays for New Order Esports, which is the same team that Ever6 played for, who's also a person who has qualified for the PAX Prime Finals. What do you know about Astrogation, if anything? Maybe you played him on ladder or something?
Well, Astrogation comes from a card background. He's been playing cards for quite a few years now. Very bright guy who really is focusing on sort of the analytical side of things. He was actually at Esports Arena when we were playing the North American prelims for the Winter Championship, where he didn't have the best performance, that he's had in his career there. But certainly a very bright guy, has very firm opinions on things and is willing to back those up with the knowledge and experience he's acquired. Very nice guy as well, very personable. I have nothing but good things to say about Astrogation personally, and teammates with Ever6, who's right there up there with him. Just a great guy, has a wealth of experience playing Hearthstone thus far, and if these guys continue to attend events and continue to put up good performances, they will eventually start to see the wins.
Yeah, definitely true. And of course, Astrogation has made it this far in the tournament. We are still in the round of 32, so of course looking for some of those last round of 16 spots. FrazerPowers, don't know too much about him. He's one of, again, the open signups, but these guys have very similar deck lineups. Both have Druid and Mage. The difference here being Astrogation with the Warlock and FrazerPowers with the Paladin. Pretty standard stuff as far as what we've seen today. But as we've seen, anything can happen with these decks.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing all sorts of different decks all tournament long. Since we've kind of closed in the later rounds, we've seen a lot less crazy innovation happening among some of the decks and a lot more of the standard builds and stuff that you would expect to see at tournament level play. But we're going to get right into it. FrazerPowers, that's an aggro Druid that he's coming correct with. Fel Reaver, Druid at the Saber. This deck can get going very quickly. But Astrogation, not a bad zoo opener himself, does mulligan Sea Giant into Sea Giant. Voidwalker Knife Juggler open for him. Meanwhile, FrazerPowers is going to keep Fel Reaver and Shade. So he's going to be rolling with Druid of the Saber, Shade and Exramus, Mounted Raptor, and Fel Reaver with the coin. Flame It finds its way to Astrogation's hand, and we are off to the races.
Whenever I play against an aggro Druid on ladder, I always think in my head that they look exactly like what FrazerPowers looks like right now. That's the image of the aggro Druid player that I have in my head. So he has confirmed it.
I have played a lot of aggro Druid versus you on ladder, actually.
Yes, and I think you look exactly like this. Those are that's some. He's styling right now. Those glasses and that jacket, definitely loving it. Astrogation just going with the classic black T-shirt, it seems. But we'll see if he's going to expect the aggro Druid to come out. I'm not sure if these players have been able to watch each other's matches over the course of the event, but we'll definitely have to see.
So Knife Juggler getting added to hand here. Astrogation off to a nice start. I mean, one of the ways that you can fight very well versus aggro Druid is just being able to kind of go 1-for-1 for them in the early game so they can't snowball the board out of control. And I think that's a lot of the influence into taking the Stone Tusk board here. You can couple it with the Knife Juggler and just continue to fight for board. I mean, once he sees Druid of the Saber, FrazerPowers' hand is kind of just face up at this point.
Yeah.
It's going to be minion after minion after minion. It is kind of interesting that he has 2 Shade and Exramus and a Mounted Raptor in here. A lot of times I've struggled to find the 3 drops that I want in here, and oftentimes I run with like 1 Shade. So a little bit heavier on that 3 drop, wants to scale a little bit harder into his 5, and the 3 drop is just hoping to secure that a little bit. So Knife Juggler is going to bite the dust here, but not before Astrogation has an opportunity to potentially juggle this away. So it is going to be trade with the Knife Juggler, drop the Voidwalker, ping on to that. That is a good one right now.
Yeah.
Normally the Druid of the Saber threatens that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he can't trade into the Voidwalker. Yeah, so Frazier apparently does have it is a cosplay. They are at the PAX East floor, so there are quite a few cosplayers there. Travis Touchdown from the game No More Heroes. So hard to see a little bit of a popped collar there. It seems a little bit more pronounced from the character in the video games, but solid cosplay. 7 out of 10. 8 out of 10 with Rice.
I think Astrogation's going to go for the juggles here on this Mounted Raptor. Oh.
Doesn't even matter if he hits this one. Well, actually, yes, it does. Because if he gets a 1-drop and he does... Imagine if an Aggro Druid got a King Crush. Yikes.
Then it would have a 9-mana 8/8 charge in his hand that it doesn't get to because the game's over before then.
Yeah. Imagine if an Aggro Druid had a King Crush. Yeah, it'd suck.
Yeah, damage pile into face at this point.
Yeah.
I like Astrogation taking the lead here. I mean, if Frazer does not have something big to answer this turn, it is going to quickly snowball out of control. 2 copies of Sea Giant in hand as well. So Frazer just chooses to build board tension here and have no real progress that he makes on board. Oh, these Sea Giants. Oh, no. This is a double Sea Giant turn if the juggles don't kill anything.
Oh, no, it's not green. So he's not going to be able to get the second one. But, you know, I'll still take 1 Sea Giant. That's still pretty good.
3-mana Sea Giant still looking all right in this board state. And I don't know if FrazerPowers can ever come back from this. Like, you're not going to find Big Game Hunter in this deck very often. There's not really a way to swing this board back. He kind of got zooed this game. I mean, Astrogation played the board very well, had a very strong hand, and follow up with a Sea Giant. And that's why this card's in here, is to close out these games.
Yeah. I don't think there is a draw that's going to allow FrazerPowers to come back into this one. Nothing to do on board, and it looks like it's going to be game 1 going over to Astrogation. Can he hit enough juggles? No, he'd have to kill everything but the Sea Giant. Or the Stone Tusk as well.
Yeah, Reside to his fate at this point, shows the Fel Reaver. Astrogation's going to take game number 1.
Yeah, he's going to let Astrogation have the honor of taking the final points of health instead of conceding. So, a pretty quick game 1, at least compared to the pace that we've sort of been used to today. Lots of control decks at the PAX East Major here. So, Astrogation just Mage and Druid left.
Yeah, it's a 90-minute match we had yesterday with Kalento because of that tank up mirror.
Kalento versus Radlack, I believe. Yeah, that was a doozy. If you guys have a chance, if you have 90 minutes to spare and really like the ability tank up, then go check out the VODs from yesterday, because it actually was a really fun matchup to watch despite it being that long. There's a lot of dead moments, but also earlier today there was the Reno Hunter versus Reno Warrior matchup, right? Reno Hunter versus Reno Warrior. Yeah, that was just absolutely insane. So if you have a chance to watch that, then you can check out the VODs for that.
Yeah, Astrogation is going to be bringing Freeze Mage here, and I know that he has a lot of experience with this build. Does prefer Forgotten Torches, from what I remember in our conversations together. FrazerPowers is going to unleash Secret Paladin here, and what a curve he's got in the opener. Secret Keeper, Shield of Minibot, Muster for Battle.
AKA Dr. 1, Dr. 2, and Dr. 3, and Dr.
4. We just missing Dr. 5 and Dr. 6 right now. Astrogation's hand, meanwhile, that is not the kind of mulligan you're looking for. Ice Block, Ice Barrier, Frost over Doomsayer, very welcome. Ice Lance and the Coin. So Frost over Doomsayer are going to be his key turn that he's looking for going into either turn 4 or turn 5, but would like to back this up with Mad Scientist, Acolyte of Pain, some card draw to get things going here. FrazerPowers, in the meanwhile, just going to get going. Novice Engineer, welcome draw at this point, but it looks like Doomsayer is just going to be the play here on turn 2. Says, this is enough. And FrazerPowers, no response to this. The Haunted Creeper is a good draw into this, though.
Yeah, but so much momentum just stopped in its tracks. And Astrogation knows that there's just nothing that's going to deal with this. Even if he had 3 secrets.
Yeah, FrazerPowers is going to hold on to his Haunted Creeper even. Says, I'll use this to fight another day. Pushes his 3 damage, and bye-bye board. Bye-bye boardy. I missed it, didn't I? Dang it.
Yep.
God. 8.5 hours of casting, and I'm already done. I can't even think of the easy ones anymore.
Missing zingers. It's not like you. Not like you at all.
FrazerPowers going to go with Pilot Shredder.
Yeah, but Astrogation just still has so much room here. Mad Scientist is a good pickup, but he's already got 2 secrets in his hand. So not as good as he would have liked. And if he plays Mad Scientist, doesn't have a reasonable answer to whatever comes out of this pile of Shredder unless it has 1 health, which would just be sort of icing on the cake for Astrogation at this point. Huge Toad.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
Interesting plays for FrazerPowers at this point. This is the first turn he's had some real options in front of him.
Might be the last also.
No, Secret Paladin always has a wealth of options at its disposal. Really, the big option for Secret Paladin is, do you play Secret Paladin or do you not play Secret Paladin? And then occasionally you get in turns like this, which, each different play leads a very different way. But then outside of that, it's pretty much just play your big stuff and go.
Averville quoted in 2016, the hardest part about playing Secret Paladin is choosing whether or not to play Secret Paladin.
It really is. That's the hardest part.
Yep. Alex Straza doesn't do him too much good right now. No cycle as well. He just had the Novice Engineer. Really have loved to see Arcane Intellect, even Anklet of Pain at this stage on turn 5. You could have gotten another draw on it. Mad Scientist is sort of cycle because it takes a secret out of your deck, which improves the overall quality of your draws in the future.
Is going to manipulate the secret into being Ice Barrier here. I'm sorry, into being Ice Block here. Plays the Ice Barrier, and then Mad Scientist can only fetch Ice Block after this.
Yeah, which is usually what you want to do because you'd rather have Ice Block in your hand over Ice Barrier in the future, and this sort of increases the chances that happens. You want to be able to control when the second Ice Block comes out, and you want to be able to guarantee that you're going to have 2 Ice Blocks as the game goes on, because a lot of times Freeze Mage comes down to a 1-turn difference between winning and losing. That's sort of what the deck is designed to do. That's why you play double Ice Block in the first place. And so buying yourself 1 more turn can sometimes be the difference between winning and losing in this matchup.
Yep. Just minions and go so far from FrazerPowers. Astrogation starting to build towards that spot where he pretty much has all the time in the world to get this done. It's just going to even ping and pass this turn.
Ooh. Yikes. Still, like you said, though, lots of time.
Ooh.
Tyrion might cut down on that time.
Yep. No play with the Keeper of Uldum this turn, it looks like. And missing turn 6 and turn 7 pretty heavily for FrazerPowers might set him back just a little bit. Super Battle's going to be the play. And just push 6 damage in the face. It's looking like a Blizzard turn here for Astrogation coming up.
Yep. Yeah. Icelands. Still not really a draw that has any sort of impact right now, or even in the next couple of turns.
The second Iceland, whatever he draws off the top of his deck to find 4 points of damage, which might end up just being pings at this point because he's going to have so much time.
Yeah, he can. There might even be a chance where, a fireball off the top means that he can get in for damage with the Alexstrasza if it's not dealt with. But it is going to be dealt with, so still lots of time still remaining for Astrogation, despite having
Astrogation sitting behind the Ice Block right here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He can't even pop the Ice Block this turn, which means Astrogation's going to have 2 Frost Novas, an Ice Block, and then whatever he draws off the top of his deck to find 4 points of damage, which might end up just being pings at this point because he's going to have so much time.
Yeah, he can. There might even be a chance where, a fireball off the top means that he can get in for damage with the Alexstrasza if it's not dealt with. But it is going to be dealt with, so still lots of time still remaining for Astrogation, despite having 3 health. 3 health is still comfortable. Even 2 health. Comfortable.
Yep, and honestly, FrazerPowers is not going to be able to even attack it. That's going to do it.
All right.
We're looking at... Well, I don't even know if this is Lotheb or Bust. I don't even think Lotheb would win at this point.
Yeah. He won't even be able to pop the block with Lotheb. He would have to put him to 1 last turn, or pop the block last turn to even have a chance. And so Astrogation just going to set it up, put him at 4, And even if Lothep's played, that still leaves a chance for Astrogation to draw Fireball or Roaring Torch for lethal. And Avenge is not going to do it. FrazerPowers is just like, what can you do?
What can
Shrug.
you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to do it. Just... That's the old 8-hour, 15-minute mark casting that you get when you wake up at 6 a.m. and don't have any meals to this point. I'm going of just caffeine and Fiji water at this point.
And one single banana.
One single banana. That's what I've had to eat today. I'm losing it right now, but what a fantastic performance from Astrogation. I mean, that matchup obviously is very weighted towards the Freeze Mage, but the fact that he didn't Blizzard on one of the turns where he could have used it, just chose to ping and pass and eat 6 points of damage. You know, those little turns like that are the kinds of situations that experienced players get into where they know that they can wait. They don't have to press the issue, and because of that, they find extra turns later down the road.
All right. Well, FrazerPowers, he's got a Freeze Mage of his own, it seems, but Astrogation has 3 chances now to win with Druid. And as we've all seen over the past many years, 2 of them, in fact, Druid can win in just about any scenario, and Freeze Mage is one of the decks that it performs the best against. So I'm liking Astrogation to take this series and probably even this game.
Yeah, this is going to mulligan away 2 Ancients of Lore. Opens up with Wild Growth, Mind Control Tech, Sludge Belcher, Swipe, and Wrath. A couple of these cards not so welcome in his hand. FrazerPowers, meanwhile, Arcane Intellect, Acolyte of Pain, Blizzard, Fireball. So this is a spot where Astrogation... This is one of the few times I think that you can really justify Coin and Wild Growth. There's a couple different situations. Number 1, where you have a 3-drop, or number 2, where you anticipate having to use either Hero Power or Wrath or Living Roots or something like that on turn 2. So that way you have time to squeeze that in and then also follow it with a 4-drop afterwards. So like this play from him. Ancient of War finds its way to hand, and here we go.
Agent of War 2. This has sort of been a common tech conclusion so far from what we've seen of the Major. A lot of players running at least one of those.
Yeah, we'll be curious to see how Astrogation navigates this turn. He does have an option to either swipe or use the Wrath. He's just going to use swipe. Just
Wrath is a lot more flexible in this matchup. It seems really weird, but Wrath can cycle. Wrath, you can fit it in with less mana. The hero power he believes, I guess, to be inconsequential. It does build up armor, which can be important in this matchup, but a lot of times it really doesn't come down to that.
Ooh, that's a spicy looking turn 5 right there.
Yeah, the one thing he might be afraid of is maybe like a Frost Nova Doomsayer. He might want to get over that turn 5 hump before he goes all in, but I think you just...
Do you 10-5 it?
Uproot?
I mean, it forces a Fireball. Frostbolt Ping as well. I mean, so there's 2 easy ways to deal with it. Yeah, you probably 5/10 is probably a little bit safer here. But honestly, I would have liked to see Astrogation go with just attack the Acolyte last turn with the Mind Control deck and then Hero Power. And rolling into this turn, he'd be free to play his minions however he wanted, and in the face of Doomsayer, could go Swipe and Wrath it. Yeah. That option has been lost at this point. So if he saw Frost Nova Doomsayer right here, he'd be very sad about it. Now, FrazerPowers just happens to be missing half of that combo, so he's going to be relegated to Arcane Intellect instead. And the damage is going to start pouring on. Mad Scientist, yeah, it's pretty good here, but staring down a 5/10, this damage is going to pile up real quick.
Oh, yeah. And Astrogation has no shortage of threats here. Darnassus Aspirin is not the most impactful pickup, but he's got Druid of the Claw, he's got Sludge Belcher, and Sludge Belcher is going to be the play.
Yeah, I like the Sludge Belcher first. Play your slower minions before you decide to play Druid of the Claw, because now in the face of Frost Nova Doomsayer, he does have the option to Druid of the Claw and Wrath to take care of it. Yeah, which will roll into a strong AoE turn for Frazier, but having an answer to it is better than not having an answer to it.
Druid of the Claw is also more flexible as the game goes on. You have the option of charging it, which later on could give you lethal in a situation where you wouldn't otherwise have one, especially in combination with Savage Roar. So definitely agree that Sludge Belcher is the better option out of the 5 drops in that scenario. So FrazerPowers does have lots of ways to stall the board out. He's got Flame Strike. He's got the Frost Nova as well.
Yeah, it's going to be getting a little bit tough for him. He's buying himself some valuable time, but sitting at 15 with Ice Barrier up effectively at 23. Oh, Savage Roar gets drawn. Yeah, here we go with this damage. It's going to start adding up. I mean, I'm guessing he's eyeing some sort of AoE next turn, which now that Astrogation is going to pop the Ice Barrier, which indeed he should be here. This is... I'm looking at Frost Nova Mad Scientist maybe being the play. But, I mean, still plenty of options at his disposal to be using alongside of this. Oh, that's a bad draw.
I mean, it's okay. I guess nothing's going to get pulled from his last Mad Scientist, but having the Ice Barrier might make it okay. But wow, decides to Flame Strike instead. How much damage is this?
18 points of damage.
Okay, well, that answers my question. Was about to count it out, but that Abacus really coming in handy. Oh, man.
Yeah, just saw Flame Strike, so Azure Drakes certainly become a lot stronger once that's happened.
Mm.
So here we go. Just pretty weak turn here from Astrogation. FrazerPowers going to need to start capitalizing on this.
Still no Doomsayer, but he does have a chance to get it with the Arcane Intellect. At this point, though, he might be afraid of a Keeper of the Grove, but I don't think he can really afford to play around too much. So he's going to draw first, of course. But what is going to be the pickup? Archmage Tinnitus and Blizzard, not really playable this turn.
Yeah, facing down too much pressure. The turn 5 Ancient of War has lived through basically all of the damage that FrazerPowers has dealt so far and continue to add pressure. And that's compounded to this spot where Frazer's just kind of fallen behind. He doesn't really have the time he needs to make use of the cards in his hand.
Yeah.
Definitely thinking second Azure Drake could be good here, but maybe wants to cycle with the Wrath first. I think he's considering silencing the Mad Scientist here, honestly.
I mean, he's been through both Ice Barriers, and he knows that an Ice Block is up.
No, he hasn't been through both Ice Barriers, because one of them's in Frazer's hand.
So yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I mean, he doesn't know. He might think it's still in the deck.
Yeah. I mean, if he chooses to Wrath first, this will be a fist pump.
I mean, he can Azure Drake and then cycle with the Wrath. Try and get as close as possible to having full combo.
Yeah, if he's going to silence it. Yeah, I think Frazer's pretty happy with that, honestly. Oh, Lotheb joins the party. This is looking really grim for Frazer. Astrogation's hand's just so strong right now.
Still no Doomsayer. Wow.
A lot of freeze going on, though. I mean, this is definitely the kind of hand where you can still buy some more time.
Yeah, Frost Nova plus Ice Barrier.
Or just Blizzard plus Ice Barrier. I think I like the Blizzard more so you can roll into the Archmage and Frost Nova. Also, Frazer just saw Keeper of the Grove, so the Archmage might actually stick. As far as his perspective is concerned, anyway.
But it looks like with Lotheb, he's going to just be forced to Frost Nova by itself. But is that really like a winning line of play? And Astrogation, now that he knows that these AoE spells are gone, is just going to start pushing in, charging with this Druid of the Claw, getting this immediate damage. And what can FrazerPowers do from here?
That Lotheb doesn't necessarily force anything. I'm feeling Alex Straza this turn and try to get lucky afterwards. I mean, your opponent's going to be set to 18, and you're going to need some heat off the top, but you have a second Ice Block ready. You have Fireball and Ice Lance in your hand. You just drew Blood Mage. I think this is the play.
Yeah. Astrogation has managed to build up a little bit of armor, though, over the course of the game. He has 3, which actually can make a big difference. It's the difference of being at 15 and 18. It's the difference of being killed by Fireball, Frostbolt, and the difference of your opponent having to have something extra. So he can clear off. Can he pop the block? Yes, he can. He can actually pop at 1 and armor up and kill the Alex Straza.
And he's got damage back behind in hand, too. So even if everything gets frozen, he still has access to block poppage.
Yeah.
Likely to just be living roots here. And then clean up the Alex draws as well.
Pop, block, and lock it.
Brilliant. 4 armor, too. I mean, that armor actually is making a really big difference right now. Frazier needs perfect draws if he's going to win this game. Ice Lance, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 if he draws a Frostbolt.
Well, he can just... Nope. Yeah,
he needs
you
to
have to
find
go
a
for
Frostbolt.
it. But he has to play Ice Block this turn.
No, I mean, it's Frostbolt or bust at this point. I don't think it mattered much what he cast alongside of it. And he needs the Blood Mage to be able to get the access to that damage afterwards, too. So this is quite literally on a Frostbolt draw to win. If he draws
Does he even
Frostbolt...
win with Frostbolt?
Yeah, it's 7 from Fireball,
yeah.
4 from the Frostbolt, it's 11, and then he's got 10 from the Ice Lances. So it is literally Frostbolt or bust at this point.
Well, it all comes down to this. And Astrogation intelligently makes sure that he gets as much health as possible. He knows what the outs are going to be in this situation. But it just doesn't look like it's going to be much besides that. Can he do it? Nope.
From his perspective, he can live another turn here as well with Frostnova and Ice Lance on the face. That will meet the demise from Keeper of the Grove or Druid of the Claw as Astrogation sees fit. So we are going to have our last player of the day moving on to the top 16. It's going to be Astrogation 3-0 over FrazerPowers.
Yeah, another one of these sort of, at least a little bit known players. Astrogation has been around the competitive scene now for a bit, been performing pretty well, at least in open tournaments in North America. And he's going to be moving on. And FrazerPowers is just going to hope, Ice Lance the face and hope that it's not there.
Yeah, very valiant effort from Frazier here, but just too little in the middle of this play. And Moonfire in true Druid fashion. Oh no! Come on! Come on! I wanted the Moonfire. All right. I guess I'll take it. Anyway, you get it. Astrogation 3-0. Very decisive victory here over FrazerPowers. And very tight play from Astrogation in all 3 of these games. I mean, that's what I've seen from him in the past and what I expect to continue seeing in the future. You know, not a very well-known guy, I'd say, like in the streamer community, but this is a guy you need to look out for. He is a threat to win tournaments.
Yeah, and that means our top 16 is set. And I believe we do have a bracket to show exactly that. Some of the known players still remaining there. Firebad, Amnesia, Nostum, Super JJ, Calento, Orange, Racy, Astrogation. But a lot of no players have fallen. A list of players that have actually fallen today that you might be familiar with. Zelay, The Rat, Raynad, VLPS, Amaz, Lead Paint, Strifecrow, Ryzen, and Trump have all fallen in the PAX East Major so far. Did not make it to that round of 16, but still strong players left, and I'm really happy to see a lot of these open players, a lot of these unknown names make it this far into the tournament. Maybe we'll be seeing some stars born tomorrow in the final day of the PAX Major.
Yep, I mean, to get to that point, you got to take that first step, and the first step is events that anyone can compete in. If you guys are interested in competing, the time is nigh to start doing so because ONOG has been running a fantastic series here in 2016.
Yeah, you guys can head over to the website right down there below. You can see geico.onog.gg. Also, there's a banner below the stream. The next open is actually on April 30th. So if you want to participate in that, it is limited to U.S. residents only. But if you are a U.S. resident, head over there, sign up for that open, have your chance to compete in the One Nation of Gamers 2016 circuit. Also, still doing that giveaway, CyberPower Gamer Extreme 1000 PC, which is right on the website as well. I believe you're entered in automatically when you actually sign up for the tournament. So if you do that, then you're good to go. Also, you can get a GEICO code as well. And a big shout out to GEICO and, of course, Video Game Voters for making this possible, as well as CyberPower PC, DX Racer, Razer, and Asus Republic of Gamers for helping us out with the hardware at the event. But admirable, that's going to wrap up day 2. It's been a fun day. You have any closing thoughts as we move forward to the final day of play here tomorrow?
Yeah, I really want to know what you guys are thinking of the tournament so far, as well as your predictions for who you think is going to take this event. This top 16 is shaped up pretty darn nicely, so you can tweet at That's Admirable, at AsimoCutie, or at ONOG Esports on Twitter, and let us know who you're supporting and who you think is going to win this. Thank you all for joining us for today. It's been a blast. Seen some crazy matches, and looking forward to some more tomorrow.
Yeah, so once again, from myself, and of course from Admirable and everybody at One Nation of Gamers and GEICO Gaming, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll return tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, or 7:30 a.m. Pacific. See you then. Thanks for watching.